I don't think you're broken. I think you're using a map that no longer matches the terrain. I don't know whether you've noticed this, but I certainly have. More and more people are saying the same thing. Something feels different. The old ways don't seem to work anymore. Working harder isn't bringing the same results. Planning further ahead doesn't necessarily create more certainty. Even following the advice of experts doesn't always feel right anymore. It's almost as though the rules quietly changed and nobody told us. What if that's actually closer to the truth than you may imagine? Welcome to No Fluff Spirituality. I'm Bascha. Today I'd love to share a perspective that helped me make sense of why so many people, also those that seek me out as clients, feel like they're standing at crossroads. Not because something is wrong with them, but because the terrain itself is changing. Let's dive in. Have you been feeling it too? Looking back over the last few years, I've noticed something fascinating. People from completely different backgrounds, business owners, parents, professionals, creative retirees, people with no interest in spirit or spirituality whatsoever, have all been saying remarkably similar things. I don't know what's happening anymore. I feel like I've outgrown my old life. I don't even know if I want to be here. Nothing lights me up like it used to. The things that used to work just don't. Perhaps you've felt that too. And perhaps you're wondering whether you've somehow lost your way. But what if you haven't? What if you're simply trying to navigate a changing landscape with an old map? Because that's exactly how it has felt to me. One of the lenses that has helped me make sense of this comes from human design. I call it a different lens of perception. Whether you know anything about human design or not doesn't really matter today, because this conversation is much bigger than human design itself. It lives in a much wider field. It offers an interesting perspective on where humanity has been and where we're heading. According to human design, for roughly the last 400 years, we've been living through what is known as the cross of planning, the era of planning. Not only human design has spoken about this, but basically it's an era built around the collective, as in the structure, the building institutions, the governments, education, healthcare, systems like corporations, and communities that are built with certain structures in place. The underlying agreement was simple. The group creates stability and the group keeps us safe. The experts know best. Trust the system, follow the plan, do your part. For a very long time that made sense. It helped build the world we know today. But something is changing, and the fascinating part is this. Human design suggests that we're now moving into a completely different era, and maybe it's timely. An era that places far greater emphasis on the individual, but not ego-driven. Not individualism. There's a big difference. It's not me first. It's more individual responsibility, individual discernment, sovereignty, individual inner and outer authority. In the old era, perhaps the biggest question was, what did the system say? What do the authorities say? What does the doctor say? Increasingly, the question becoming relevant now that I've been delving into is, what feels true for me? Can you feel that difference? One looks outward, the other asks us to look inward. Put very simply, the map no longer matches the terrain. This is why I think so many people feel unsettled, not because they're failing or they're lost, but because they're still trying to navigate today's world using yesterday's map. Many of us were taught, work hard, follow the plan, stick to the plan, find the expert, do everything right, in inverted commas, eventually you'll arrive. But life isn't behaving that predictably anymore. Come on, businesses aren't, relationships aren't, careers aren't, and even the way we learn is changing almost day by day. It's almost as though life is asking something different of us now. Feel that movement. It's asking something different of us. There is less certainty. Look at our uncertain world, for example. There's also, though, more awareness possible, less rigid planning, more, perhaps we could call it, conscious navigation. Most people don't need another strategy. They need a new map, or perhaps more accurately, they need to learn to trust their own inner compass. Your inner compass. This doesn't mean we stop learning. It doesn't mean we reject wisdom or teachers or guides or trainers. Far from it. I still learn from people. I still study, and I still remain curious and open. But there comes a point where information has to become discernment, where someone else's truth can no longer replace your own lived knowing. Because no one else lives your life, right? No one else experiences the world through your nervous system. Your experience is your intuition and your design. Perhaps one of the greatest invitations of this new era is not to know more, but to know yourself more deeply, to align more, to calibrate more to who you be. Here's something I'd love you to sit with this week. Where in your life are you still waiting for someone else to tell you what the right answer is? Where are you giving away your own authority? Not because you're weak, but because that's simply how many of us were taught to navigate the way we were brought up. Just notice it. Where in your life are you still waiting for someone else to tell you what the right answer is? Or giving away your authority, inner or outer? Observe it without judgment. Awareness is always the first step. If today's conversation resonated with you and you're curious about understanding your own unique natural way of being, making decisions and navigating change and communicating it, I've included a link in the show notes launching a gift to you, my free Human Design Foundation report. It's not about putting you in another box. It's quite the opposite. It's about helping you understand the unique way you're already designed to navigate life. It might be something really new for you. It's like sowing a seed. Think of it as the beginning of getting to know your own inner compass. I'll leave you with this thought. Perhaps the future doesn't belong to the people with the most detailed plan. Perhaps it belongs to the people who learn to navigate well, to the people who remain present, curious, discernment, adaptable, fluid. People who trust themselves enough to keep adjusting as that landscape changes, and it will. Because maybe, just maybe, nothing is wrong with you. Maybe the map changed. Maybe the map changed. This is No Fluff Spirituality. I'm Bascha, business, life and spirit for the new era. Grounded, clear, real. Until next time, and trust yourself a little bit more than the noise.